Anand, what does Voiro do today now?
We build technology that helps you manage your ads business.
Now, okay, so I'm going to take that as a segue
Yeah.
to understand what is this ads business, right?
Yeah.
Broadcast, when it was TVs, when it was broadcasting, it is still understandable. It is still something that we can relate. Hey, somebody's bought media rights, and there are XYZ advertisers who will pay, for that 10-second slot. Everybody's going to see the same thing, and this is their contract. It's set in stone, and there's you don't need too much data tracking. You need to make sure that the ad ran, and this is the cost, and that's how reconciliation happens. Now, to a world which is now, I just got to know, by the way, like I mean, it makes sense completely, but I just got to know that I was being served a different ad than somebody else. Maybe it was just me who was being told to buy crypto in this last IPL and nobody else. But to coming to this world where ads can be personalized at the demographic level, right? Ads can be personalized based on the language that the person is viewing the stream on, and so many things, and which basically increases the variability by 100x, right? So explain how that ecosystem, how that value chain works today, and where would Voiro fit in? I think that will be best for our for me and our audience to understand what is this giant industry, the ad tech industry, and how has that evolved over the last few years.
If you look at the entire ad tech value chain, you have two sides of it. One is the buy side, and the other one is the sell side, right? And the buy side are the marketers, the advertisers, people who are buying slots to place their ads into the sell side. And the sell side are publishers like Hotstar and Voot and Sony and Z and everybody else who has content on either on television or on websites or on apps, in which they are able to sell this as inventory to the buy side, right? Yanand, you wanna color in? And from a sell side perspective and a buy side perspective, everything starts and ends with a DMP or a CDP, right? Where you have audiences, and you have audiences that the marketers are trying to speak to, and on the sell side you have audiences that the publisher has as captive that these marketers can speak to. So from
DMP
a
and
tech
CDP.
perspective, yeah, so that's
DMP and
data
CDP.
management platform. Yes,
Okay.
DMP is a data management platform, and CDP is a customer management platform. So today, this has become a huge deal because of regulation and the fact that first party data is gold. And so everybody wants to match up that first party data and say, I have Anand's email ID. Do you have Anand's email ID? And so if you have Anand's email ID, that means he's coming to your website. And so I'd like to show him this ad. And Anand likes to buy a specific brand of coffee, and I'd like to keep advertising to Anand, right? So it's become that hyper targeted. And the entire value chain from there on is ad serving, verification, and then demand and supply of interest in advertising, and aggregation of it, which is called demand side platform and a supply side platform. When a group of publishers come together and put their inventory up for sale, it's called a supply side platform. And when a group of advertisers come in and try to buy certain types of inventory, it's called a demand side platform. So if you map it from end to end, from a sell side to the buy side, you have publishers, marketers on either side, and in between you have all of this various type of tech that make sure that you're able to get to the same audience that the sell side has and the buy side wants. And so what we do is we are decidedly on the sell side. We make sure that the publisher ecosystem is able to manage, track, and grow their ad revenue by using us. Because as you can imagine, when you have content today, you can monetize in several ways. You can open up various methods of monetization. You can have ads, you can have subscription. Within ads, you can have different types of advertising. You can have different sources of demand, which is I can go directly to an advertiser and say, hey, I have IPL coming up and you seem to be a great fit because the kind of demographic that watches IPL also buys your brand. Say, for example, Axe, right? I'll go to Hindustan Unilever and I'll go and ask them to put some money on IPL. I could go to an agency who represents Unilever. I could go to a demand side platform where the agency is sitting there as a seat trying to look for this audience type, right? Which I have. I could open up a self-service portal where I'm spending marketing dollars and saying, telling, and speaking to anybody who has a brand, saying that I own IPL today. Come to my self-service portal and express your interest to advertise here. And all you have to do is upload a small creative or a banner that I can run on IPL, right, on my app. And so right here, we have like two or three different types of um, um, demand sources. And from there on, the sky is the limit in the way you can price each of these demand sources, how you can play them against each other, how you can optimize it, how you staff for it, how you service it, how you manage it. And that's where Voiro comes in, right? We sit on top of all of these various tactics that a publisher uses to create revenue for themselves for through advertising, and we help them orchestrate everything in real time so that they're not getting harassed trying to go to different types of technology providers, different types of data sources to understand whether what they did is working or not, and how they can make sure that everybody's able to focus on growth instead of managing day to day data reconciliation, trying to track and try and verify what was actually played out. And so there's a lot of automation that goes into it, which gives publishers a lot of freedom to try whatever they want to. They can try. So a lot of our publishers have more than one ad server. Earlier, it was unheard of. You would have just one ad server, and that's it, because that was where all your ad formats went through. Your team was trained to use that interface, and that was it. And it was very, very difficult to have two at the same time. Now we have publishers who have two off the shelf ad servers. They've built their own ad server for certain types of formats so that they can manage innovation and costs. There are so many things that have come into the market, and that we'd like to think is also because of the fact that we were there. So
Hmm.
the upstream were never affected. Business ran as usual. So product had a field day trying to figure out what they could do, and sales and executives and operations, they didn't have to sit and relearn. There was no learning curve, and everybody could get on with just making revenue and optimizing what they had to for, I mean, against their business needs using Voiro.
Okay, who's the key user in a publishing house for Voiro? What's their designation? What is their role responsibility?
So I would say we sell to the CRO. He makes the
Okay.
decision to buy or not buy Voiro. But the users downstream is the ad operations people. They are the actual people who actually toggle the system to be able
Yeah.
to understand where revenue is going.
The way I look at a publisher stack, Siddharth, is any publisher, which is organizations that make ad revenue, have three problems to solve. Right? One is they have a product stack that they have to create, which is the product, the player, the experience for consumers, the ads experience, etc. Two is there is a data stack, right? How are you reading multiple touch points and assembling it, enriching it to understand your consumer more? So there's your data stack. But the third stack is what I like to call your GTM stack, the stack that helps you connect with money. It could
Hmm.
be, if you're only subscriptions, it could be your integrations with Stripe, with payment gateways, with subscription offerings with companies like Evergent, etc. If you're going the ads route, it could be you need programmatic integrations. You need to hook on to InMobi. You need to hook on to various programmatic partners. You need a source of direct sales. You need a Voiro to stitch all of that together. So we consider ourselves to
Hmm.
be a part of that GTM stack. And
Hmm.
this is also laid out in a manner that typically is arranged this way, right? Your product stack, your data stack are going to be very core to you. Right? You might want to build it yourself. In the build versus buy argument, you want to make sure you control everything to do with your consumer, your user, their data, their experience, and everything that surrounds that. And GTM stacks are where we come in and say, look, we have solved this for several organizations across the world. And we can ensure that there is no slip between the fact that you're being super innovative on the product side and you need to tap into the market where money comes from, which is the demand side. So that GTM stack is where we're able to come in and say, we'll take you from zero to where you need to be really, really fast.
Interesting.
Uh,
That makes,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you for explaining it that way. I think that GTM stack really hits the point. It's something that every company doesn't have to create and put in the resources to create the same thing over and over again, because you probably don't need differentiation there. Your differentiation happens at the product and data level already. Your differentiation happens in the media rights that you've already bought. All of those things have already been taken care of. Now use a system that can truly make you maximize whatever you've bought, and make sure you turn a profit on it, sell more than what you've paid for.